straight to the point, and she'll be speaking on living in the moment. And we're going to give the floor to her right now. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Miracle. I sincerely want to thank you for taking this effort of doing these YouTube lives, and I'm sure many are benefiting out of it. So thank you so much. I really appreciate. Now, let's just dive into the topic right away. All right? But then, just before I begin, I want you all who are watching me right now and who are going to watch the recording to just sit straight in whichever chair or couch they are in, feet on the ground. Just close your eyes, and something that we take for granted always, our own breathing, we are going to consciously put our attention on the breathing and take 7 to 8 deep breaths. So let's begin. And with each deep breath, I'm sure we are feeling relaxed, and some thoughts which are just clouding our mind are staying away for the moment. Another 3 to 4 deep breaths. And now, just rub your palms against each other. Put them on your eyes. Feel the warmth. This will rejuvenate your eyes because I'm sure all of you are seeing the laptop screen whole day long. Great. And now I formally welcome all who are watching us live and going to watch the recording in this session on living the moment well. Yes, Miracle. So I want to hear from you. How are you feeling now versus how were you feeling a minute back?
It feels relaxed. I feel very relaxed. I don't know, but it feels different.
Wonderful, wonderful. And did we do anything different? Not exactly. We started breathing the minute we were born, and we will breathe till we are alive in this world. But this small little thing of breathing consciously, focusing our attention on inhale and exhale, just make this very moment miraculous, if I can put it that way. So, yes, now I want to just straight go ahead and talk about today's topic. What if I tell you that our memories, experiences from the past, and the imagination and planning of future, okay, which are all important things, I do not deny, but when they all get mixed up, we become a huge mess. Would you agree with me, Miracle? Yeah?
Yes, I do agree with you.
Absolutely. And in the process, it's proven that more than 90% of the time, we are either in the past or in the future. But hang on, what about this very moment? And with the breathing exercise, I just made you feel a little relaxed and you felt a little different than usual because we are not used to doing it so often. But then this very exercise made us also realize that it's not that difficult to be in this moment at all. It's actually all of us can be, but somehow that awareness is still not so common. So, how about using this exercise a couple of times in a day to just be perfectly there in the moment? Because tell me one thing, keep aside the time machine innovation if at all it comes someday, but other than that, can you be in the past and future? Can any one of us be? Absolutely not. We all are just here, but then our mind is busy thinking about the past and the future. Okay, now when I talk about living in the moment, I sometimes get this question, oh, if I'm focused only on this moment, will I get complacent? How about planning my future? I have so many goals in my life. What will happen to all of them? And what if I tell you that if you really live this moment well, that is the key for all your growth, development, professional goals, personal goals, even your relationships? Because our mind is way too occupied and we see every moment with the filter of the past events or anticipating the future, the very moment which is right now is not lived. Any thoughts on this, Miracle?
This is very, very true. Very, very true. And I really agree with you on that, actually.
Yes, thank you so much. Now, let me just go ahead and tell you something more, okay? We all have heard about trauma responses, which are hardwired into our brain from the time of evolution. Can you think of these three? They all start with the letter F, which are fight, flight, and freeze. I'm sure the viewers are aware about it. Yes? But then, are we living in those times when the predator is going to attack us? Are we living in those times when all the time we have to have our antennas on and just keep thinking and feeling hyper about things? Actually, ideally not. Although some of you would say that, but what about the stress from my work? And what about the stress from my relationships? But then, what if I tell you that we are not in the age to feel these three responses? But I'll introduce the fourth word, which is very crucial for today. Face it. Face it. Do you have a choice to escape from what you are living? We are not the monks who are going to sit in the mountains and meditate. We are human beings who are living in the society. We are human beings who are occupied with our work pressure, goals, family goals, children, parents, our partners. We cannot escape. We need to face it. If we decide that we need to face it, how about facing it with a way which is pleasant than feeling burdened all the time? When we climb mountains, when mountaineers or trekkers go up the hill, the lighter the backpack is, isn't it easier? Or you would carry like tons of clothes and food and everything which makes you very difficult to climb. The lighter the bag is, the better it is. Then why do we carry the emotional baggage and the stress that every moment and living the very moment itself becomes a challenge? Now you would ask me that, oh, doesn't it all sound quite philosophical, and is it really possible in this 21st century when the wars are happening all around the world and there is so much unrest, so much competition? And what if I tell you that it's not easy, but it's definitely doable? Do you want to hear more about it?
Yes, 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 yes,
Yes?
yes.
Superb. Now, tell me one thing, okay, Miracle? Let me take an example. Cats. All cats love milk, or all cows eat grass. Can I say that about the people who are listening to this podcast, saying that all of them enjoy coffee, all of them enjoy their beer? Can I say that? Can I generalize the statement?
Maybe, yes, maybe you can.
Maybe yes, is it? What if I tell you that half of the population of the world is absolutely vegan and they will not touch meat? Can I say that all the population around the world eats meat? I can't say that perhaps. Correct? So that means we have a choice. We can always have our choice. And that happens because we as the species, we are human beings and we have developed brain to think that what do I want to choose? I'm not in a compulsive state of behavior that, oh, when this particular person from my team comes in front of me, I just get triggered and I have to get agitated. No, it's not a compulsion. Hang on. There is a choice every time you have an interaction with the person, that can I respond a different way? But most of the times it cannot happen because we are preoccupied with something and we cannot think of this very moment. Okay, let me give you an example how it would help if we really focus at least a few moments in a day on the very moment. Okay, let me tell you an example. All across the globe, traffic and vehicles on the road is a huge problem, right? If I'm not in the moment and I'm thinking of my meeting, which is lined up the next hour, there are higher chances that I would just hit a car or I'll get hit by another car. So I have to be there in the moment. Okay. Another example, very, very popular example, I would say. All of us, at least one point in time in life, want to lose weight. Okay. But then if I'm not focused and conscious on this moment, I'm thinking of the stress level being high because there is a tight deadline at workplace. I added extra sugar in my coffee when I'm supposed to not have sugar at all in my coffee. Is it helping? My goal and aim is fixed, that I want to lose weight, and for which I have decided I'll have more of fruits and fiber and avoid pizza and avoid sugar in my drink. But then I'm not in that moment. So in the stress, I'm adding sugar to my coffee. So it's not helping me. You get me? So on a daily basis, it's so important to be in that moment. Okay, relationships. I really want to spend time with my partner, the quality time that I call for it. But then when I get time with my partner, what if I keep thinking, last time he just changed the plan last minute? We couldn't go and watch that movie. Now he's saying that he has time for me. Oh, I don't know if tomorrow he'll give time for me or not. Hang on. What did you do in the process? The 2.5 or 3 hours that you got together, your mind was occupied with something you couldn't enjoy. And because you couldn't enjoy, the relationship did not bond well. And then they started problems and arguments, and you don't understand me and I don't understand you kind of thoughts all going around. So you get me? How it's important to be in that moment. Yeah. Now, before I go ahead, I want to ask you if you have any thoughts on so far what I have shared with you.
Yeah, I think there's something you said about the fact that we can't actually be in the moment, and we can actually think about the future, and then
Hmm.
we can't do so much. Let me put it this way: we can't do so much about the future if we are still in the moment. We can't do so much about right now if we're thinking about the future. But meanwhile, the issue on ground is now, and so we can't do so much if we're not thinking about now.
Yeah.
So, like the example you set was what example did you put? So you put an example. Let's say you're in a traffic
Yeah.
and you're not mindful of the now. You will hardly make use of that opportunity at that time. So it's very important, like you said, to live in the moment. Because if we don't live in the moment, there's very little we can do about our life as a whole.
Absolutely. And now, if you ask me, basically, people ask, oh, but then what's the point in being in the moment? Because my goal is for future. I want to achieve something that there on my professional front. In my education, I want to do this course, that. I want to apply for PhD, etc., etc. But then tell me one thing, okay? When you actually target a goal, most of the learning happens how well you go through the process of achieving the goal. But then by just setting your focus on the future and on the goal, you're missing out on the learnings. And we always talk about problems, we talk about failures. But then, if you do not succeed, the best thing that remains with you is the learning and the growth that has happened till the point you tried for achieving that goal. Secondly, although problems start with the letter P, possibility also starts with the same letter. So if there is a problem, another word which starts with P is the perspective. So the problem can have possible solutions, and it's also about the perspective with which you look at it. I want to introduce at this point in time a miracle, a word which is a Japanese word called wabi sabi. Okay, what this word means is that accepting where you are right now. It is incomplete, but it is not permanent either. So, what you're trying to say is whether it's your weight loss journey, whether it's your achieving the target, or if you're a sales or marketing person, whether it's about your target for your studies, relationships, you accept where you are right now. And that in itself acts as a motivator for you to progress. And it's so important to have that awareness that yes, I accept this is where I am, but then I can definitely progress once I have that acceptance. Secondly, I want to also introduce one more thing here. Well, people will ask that to be mindful, are there any tips? Are there any exercises? Because it's okay, we heard enough of being mindful. but what do we do to be mindful? Okay, so let me focus on that part now. When I just made you do the breathing exercise, typically people come back saying that, oh, no, 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 no. You know what? We cannot just sit with our eyes closed. The thoughts just clutter my mind, and I'm all places but right now and right here. So why are you asking me to close my eyes? Okay. So I'm not asking you for an elaborate meditation. It's just focusing on your breathing and let the thoughts be. Tell me one thing. When you sleep, does your heart stop beating? No, right? Your digestive system is working, your circulatory system is working. So why you think the thoughts would suddenly stop when you just focus on your breathing? They're not going to stop, but let them be. What's happening is when you close your eyes, one sense is closed and you're focusing consciously on your breathing, it's allowing your mind to calm down to that extent. And when you do it a couple of times in a day, that in itself has your awareness being focused on something that you really need to do in the next 1 hour. Okay, it's like the shepherd who's trying to control the herd, the sheep. Okay, so you are actually with your breathing trying to just get your focus back. That's number one. Number two, okay, all of us do a lot of decluttering of our cupboards, of our homes, houses, our offices, cars. Why? Because we want to keep it clean, neat, tidy. Clothes, especially if they are not fitting you well, if they have gone old, we just remove them. But then hang on, how much attention are you giving to your own mind? Oh my goodness, there is so much of clutter lying from when I was a 10-year-old and I was a 5-year-old and the fight I had with when I was a teenager. They all are just occupying, occupying, occupying. So it's a good idea to declutter these thoughts from time to time. Okay, we have shorter time today to go deeper into this exercise, but then I would be reachable and I would definitely love to help people out to see how they can declutter their minds. Okay, next thing. Now, when we focus on the moment or when we have our perspective and when we think of possibilities rather than thinking of the problem, does that mean the negativity will absolutely go away and everything will be positive? No, it's not a magic wand. It's not a formula that all these things are going to disappear from our surroundings. It's just that when we are aware of what our mind is thinking and we are decluttering it from time to time, we are better prepared to face it. Remember the fourth option that I spoke about? We are better prepared to face the challenge because we can think of possibilities, we can think of perspective, how we can look at it. And as I said, if there is no success, the learning is not being taken away from us. So we are still learning in the process. Okay. So rather than saying that think positive, I would say think right. And when you feel that you're drifting away, take a pause. Just the way I did in the beginning of the session. I tell a lot of my corporate clients, Miracle, when they are in a heated discussion in the boardroom and a lot of brainstorming is happening and nothing is coming to a conclusion, keep everything aside, just take a pause, do deep breathing, come back. There are higher chances that you would be able to work on things on hand better because it sorts your mind to that extent. Okay. And another thing would be, okay, we have little time, so I'll just quickly tell you one or two things here. So we all are aware of positive psychology techniques like gratitude. Yeah. Does it mean that we are not focusing on things which are not working in our lives? Not at all. But when we say that a particular thing is not working in our lives, there are things which are working beautifully well. But we are hardwired to look at only thing that's not working for us. So it's an exercise, it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but we can start focusing on things which are working for us. That in itself help us to have an abundant mindset, and the problem on hand can be worked out. We can do something about it. We can seek help as and when required. So these are some of the points because I feel that foundation is extremely important for the building to stand tall. So if you are not rooted enough, we see the tree growing beautifully well outside, but do you know how deeper the roots go? And that's exactly what I'm saying, living the moment well. When you are anchored in this moment very well, being aware of your limitations, your shortcomings, what problems you have in hand, there are better chances you'll be able to work a solution out of it. So that's what pretty much, of course, there are many more points that I can talk about, but with the given time slot that we have, I think this is what I have on my agenda today to share. Any questions?
Much. Thank you so much, Miss Mani. Mrs. Manisi. So the question I
Manasi, yeah.
have is, yeah, Manasi. So the question I have is this. Sometimes we have people saying that, okay, oh, miracle, I'm going through a lot and all that. How do people settle their mind? How do people settle their minds, especially when they're going through really tough times that sometimes they're unable to engage in certain activities that would help them calm their mind? What do you think they should think of? What do you think they should actually want to think of to actually calm them?
All right. Tell me one thing, okay? All of us, I'm taking example of pandemic because all of us have gone through it, right? Um, so how was the time? Absolutely uncertain, unpredictable, unprecedented. We had never gone through something like this. So none of us were prepared to face it either, right? And I'm sure all of us were extremely tensed. We were really feeling very low, but we
Yeah.
all went through it, right? It's not always that we are going to face such times of unprecedented, such calamity coming on our head, but on in day-to-day basis. Okay, tell me one thing: is there anything without pressure? We are always going to have pressure, whether it's on our work front, college, relationships. But the more we have our internal strength being developed to face it, I think we can always keep the stress under control. Okay, what happens is when we are in stress, we only focus on the stress part and forget about our own qualities, forget about what we have within us, and only focus on the stress part. And our mind is such a fantastic friend, but at the same time such a worst enemy, that it can make a mountain out of a small little ant. So the more we focus on the stress part of it, the more difficult it's going to get to respond. So instead, sit back, ask yourself, have I dealt with this kind of a tension before? If yes, how had I dealt with it? Okay. Secondly, also I suggest people that have a particular memory from the past as your ready reckoner. Sometime when you had faced problems with utmost courage, extreme calmness, and how you had dealt with it. That in itself will act as a dose of boost for you, a dose of motivation for you to face through it. And third thing, who said that you need to deal with all the problems by yourself? Sometimes, sorry for my word, but we have our ego coming way and we do not ask for help. So drop it. It's okay. And those who judge you based on you asking help are perhaps not worth keeping in your life. But then, if it's only your own mental model and ego stopping you from seeking help, take a pause. Ask yourself, is it going to help me or is it going to ruin me? Because stress is a poison which really kind of affecting you from inside. Unfortunately, because it's not a wound seen outside, we do not realize it.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Baba. Thank you so much. Okay, so there are two more questions, and the other question is
Sure.
the team thought is service leadership, and we want to get your opinion. What do you think service leadership is? What do you think service leadership should be all about?
Okay. First of all, do you agree that there is a leader inside each one of us? Whether we are in the
Yes.
role as a leader in organization, whether just leading our own family, even if we are just homemaker taking care of the kids and family, we all are leader in our own way. Yes. Second thing, even if you are a leader, if you have the mindset of I am running this team, okay, but it's not mine. I'm just marking the way so that the others can accompany me. others can follow me, and it's also a way of empowering them. The minute the leader thinks that this is what I am and I am leading, when that ego comes in, it becomes difficult to take your team along and walk the way. But the service leadership in the word itself is talking about providing that service, being of help to your team. So if we approach it as a conscious leader with what, see, and conscious is not just about what you consume, what you wear, how much you spend, it's also about how you think and how you speak. So the consciousness comes from all these aspects of life. And only then truly we can make the difference in the world outside, because it all begins with us. Okay. Now let me just quickly give you an example here which will go well with the service leadership miracle. Okay. Typically, when we have a deliverable or a tight deadline, the stress level goes up when we start thinking that I have to do it. Oh goodness, unless I do it, it's not gonna actually fetch the result that I'm looking for. And it adds to your stress. Then, when you're actually communicating with your team as well, you have that stress like a sword hanging on your head, and you are approaching everything from that stress level. But what if you say that I'm choosing to do this because I want to give a quality report outside? If you approach it with that, it will be easier even to convince your team per se, because then you'll take all of them together and then move ahead with the mindset that we have chosen to do this project well because that talks about our quality and we want to stick to that quality. So even if a crisis situation, even in a tight deadline situation, you'll be able to get more better work done from your team. And plus, you as the leader will also be able to set an example for those who follow your footsteps.
Wow, thank you so much, Baba. Thank you so much. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
um, our last question before we allow.
Sure.
This section was meant to be longer, but because we wanted it to be short, so we're going to give Miss Manasi to an opportunity to actually give a discount for for personal session as well. So before that, let's answer this question, and then we know that okay, after she's done talking, and then we'll let this section end.
Sure.
What would be your advice for young people, especially people in leadership position, in as we get into a new year, as we're in a new year, what's something you want younger people or even executive leaders, or probably young leaders in school, undergraduate students, people that don't school, what's something you want them to know about life? What's something you learned, something you feel you wish you knew better? What's something you want people to know?
That's such a wonderful question, Miracle. So I usually tell people that resolution do not work because we force ourselves to perform something. But when it comes from within, as an integral part of your life, it's so much easier to perform that task that you have set for yourself. So every time a new year is starting, we ask, oh, what is the new year going to bring to me? What is in store for 2024? Hang on, take a pause and ask, what is it that I am bringing to this new year? This particular reflection would help you to let go of something, a model, a belief which is not helping you, and let go of something which is not serving you today. It might have helped in the past. Also, bringing in your best version, okay, in the new year, so that the goal that you are actually setting for yourself looks much more achievable, because you are then breaking down into small little steps how you want to go about achieving that goal. Second point here is we always make a to-do list for our things, whether it's on professional front or personal front. But I want to suggest two more things here. End of the day, write down at least 2 to 3 accomplishments for yourself. It could be even small little, like today I could convince my teammate whom I usually get very agitated with in a very calmer tone. What a big achievement, right? So write 2 to 3 accomplishments for yourself on a daily basis. Secondly, when you're making a to-do list for your day, also maintain a to be list, how you want to be while performing the task. It's so important. Even if I'm actually pursuing my passion, but if I'm feeling stressed about it, oh well, that's not enjoyment, and that's not how the things should be. So maintain a to be list along with your to do list. So these are my suggestions to end the session and go ahead with the next 11 months of 2024.
Wow, thank you so much, Mrs. Manasseh. Okay, so this well, wow, we're exactly like almost 30 minutes. That's really nice. Okay, so Manasseh, please, what are your offers for people who probably want to reach out to you, and then so that they could reach out to you for probably a paid coaching section or executive
Absolutely.
section as well.
So, of course, I mean, since I am based in another country, Miracle, amount as such will differ because of the exchange rate, etc. But what I can say is if people approach for paid sessions, today we are on the 27th of Jan. If people approach for paid sessions by 15th of Feb, I am going to offer them a discount of about, I would say, 12 to 15% on the first three sessions. So that's what my offer is.
Wow, wow. Okay, thank you.
That's a huge one.
That's really huge. That's really huge. Thank you so much. So how would you reach out to you? Is it could you probably call where people online right now probably listening to you? How can they reach out to you so that they could reach out to you? So
Sorry.
how can they reach out to you if they want to reach out to you? What platform is way
Oh,
better
if
for them
they
to
want
reach
to
out to you?
reach out to me, okay. So, Miracle, I'm going to share with you the links to my Facebook page and my Insta handle. So maybe they
Okay.
can drop me a message there,
Okay.
and even my email ID if they wish to. So, one of
Okay.
these three places, they can drop me a message, and I'll definitely revert to them.
Okay. I would also tag you too as well, so it's easier for them to reach out to you as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm really grateful. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for joining as well. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.